Well, faithful listeners, I know that this will be heartbreaking for you all to hear, but it is a dark week here at the King's Hall, meaning we do not have a new main episode for your listening pleasure. But are we going to leave you empty-handed? No, that's not how you build a new Christendom. You don't leave your listeners empty-handed. No, you release for them some behind-the-scenes content that's previously unreleased. So what we're going to do in this short episode here is give you a little bit of a flavor for what it's like to be in the King's Hall private pub. All right, that's what our Patreon channel really is. It gets you access to a special weekly after-hours show called, creatively, After Hours, in which we chat, we talk Twitter, we talk the water cooler talk. We may sometimes expand on the topic from the episode, but mainly we just have a good time, and then we end with a toast like we were chatting at the bar of our local Christian pub. That
doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist yet. So with that said, enjoy this formerly patron-exclusive look at our After Hours show, and we hope it is enjoyable for your listening pleasure.
Welcome to the King's Hall After Hours. I am host number one. My name is Flava Flav.
Did you say host number one?
Host number one.
First show we last.
Flava Flav.
Flava Flav.
Oh, man.
Do you guys remember Flava Flav?
Yeah, back in my days where I was not very
righteous.
Christian.
Righteous. That'd be a great.
I was going to say.
When it was like MTV.
Or have good taste.
What show was that? Man, I can't remember. It was actually, it's better that I don't remember.
So we got Flava Flav. We've got Heavy D on mic 2.
Heavy D.
I really.
Heavy D Burks.
That hurts my feelings.
Heavy D. You told me.
Heavy D?
You told me that was your nickname.
Yeah, I wanted to be a rapper when I was in
Heavy
school.
D.
Yeah.
Heavy D.
Did you
Eminem
really?
was like, oh yeah, I wanted.
Did
to be.
you really?
No, I didn't. Not at all.
Praise the
Not
Lord.
at all.
Okay, I was going to make fun
I
of you.
didn't know.
Heavy D coming on the mic at y'all. Gonna let you know. Sorry.
What just happened?
Eric don't stand real tall, but he's a short king and he's looking real fine. I'm sorry, After Hours listeners.
They're like, what just happened?
That was all Dan.
So mic number 3. Mic number 3, we've got what's Brian's? Oh, the sweet psalmist of Ogden.
Oh, please.
So Brian is so sweet and such a psalmist that he has to autograph things for small children.
Look, it was so cute I couldn't say no. But listen, guys, we're going to have a competition. Via Twitter, submit your best new nickname for me that doesn't make me sound gay. All right?
Okay,
everybody
so
ready? That's what I'd like.
I'm counting on an even gayer nickname.
I will refuse to answer it forever.
Yeah, but you didn't choose this one.
No, I didn't.
It's much like election.
Nicknames, you never choose
It was
them.
chosen for you.
If you try to choose your own nickname, you're probably like a loser. Cool. If you're like, everybody call me Heavy D. It's kind of lame. No, you need someone to come up to you and be like, what's up, Heavy D?
Oh, you mean like Fat Dan? And then it sticks, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you try it. It always backfires. So, look, help me out, listeners.
Help me out. So, Brian, I wanted to give just a little bit of recap what we've been up to. We were at County Before Country last week. Had some good experiences. But I kind of wanted to get your thoughts, weigh in on a few things, a few positive takeaways that I thought was pretty cool. Number one, I love air conditioning.
Air conditioning is one of the greatest evidences of postmillennialism.
I think I agree with you. And after, it was funny. So the backstory is the conference didn't have, it broke.
The compressor for their large warehouse church broke literally the day before the conference. So there was nothing they could do. It wasn't their fault.
But it was like record heat.
It was like the fourth circle.
There was like people passing out.
Yeah. My wife at one point was like helping a 17-week pregnant lady, taking her back. Like, you should drink some water here. Let's cool you down so you don't get hospitalized, that kind of thing. I was sweating and the stage was a little higher. So, I'm going up there to lead worship and it's hotter. Heat rises.
It's hot. It's hot when you're on the stage, when you're the main event.
I was not the main event at any point, but I did lead worship. So it was hot. I was sweating out my armholes. I was just dripping.
Well,
Armholes?
I knew.
Like your sleeves? Oh, your pits.
Yeah.
Those aren't armholes.
Here's the background of that is that my climbing partner was like a redneck hillbilly guy, and he would always say that, but with like I'm sweating out my armholes up here. So I always say that now. And I give no context so people think I'm dumb. Anyway, moving on.
Dan thinks that anyway. One of the things, though, that I realized it was hot. This is like day 2. I'm wearing like business cash, like, a coat and a tie.
Yeah.
And I have my khakis on, and I've sweated through my khakis on my calves.
Yeah. Who sweats through khakis?
I know.
Your calves?
That's how disgustingly
Do
hot it
calves
was.
even sweat?
Apparently.
They do.
Eric's does.
Eric's
My
calves
calves
sweat. Yeah. Eric was also the first day, so he's like wearing his full suit jacket, tie. I wore a jacket and like a button-up shirt, full on. Doug gets up there. Doug Wilson gives his first lecture, and he's like, 2 observations. Number 1, it's hot. And number 2, I am wearing a jacket, but that's just because I'm stubborn. And if I pass out, you will find out how stubborn. It's like, yep, that was a Doug-ism right there.
Yeah.
It was hot.
I wore a coat for 2 days.
Yeah, you're a real Chad.
The 3rd day, I wore shorts and a T-shirt, and it was like thunderstorms and cold.
Yeah, I wore a T-shirt the 2nd day and the 3rd day.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to point to, I thought was cool from the conference, kind of a good takeaway for me, was just the networking, kind of seeing some of the cool things happening in Christendom. A lot of people building things different ways. But it was interesting, Brian. Maybe this was my overall takeaway. And call me a lover of Ogden in Refuge Church.
I will.
But I walked away, and normally you go to a conference and you're like, oh, I wish we had this where we were, back home. And I went to that conference and I was like, you know what? I'm actually really grateful for my people, my place, and Refuge Church. Really excited.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's where we'll go with some of this. Really excited to talk about kind of what we've got going on here and why it's become so special to all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the questions that you and I were getting from different listeners and podcast listeners, people listening to the music and kind of keeping tabs on what we're doing here on Ogden, just basically overall, they wanted to know, like, tell us more. Tell us about your singing. You guys talk about singing a lot. Tell us about the school. Tell us about the community. What, like, you guys talk as if Ogden is this utopia, which it's not a utopia. There's tons of work to do, but we genuinely love it here. Someone could come in and say, Eric, I'm going to give you, big paycheck, come pastor our mega church.
And I would do it. I mean, what? Whoa.
That backfired.
How much is the paycheck?
That backfired on me, guys. I'm not going to lie. No, it's just, I don't think any of us would. I'd be like, no, thanks.
Yeah, we're not leaving.
Because what the Lord has done here is, for us, it's like it's day to day, but I meet people all the time, and they're like, no. They start describing their situation. They start describing they've looked everywhere. They're trying to find a church. Communities, not thick. Like, they're not singing the Psalms. They're not educating children. We're really thankful. Like, I just am very thankful.
Yeah, some of them don't even have, like, the basic things of, like, some deep friendships.
Yeah, no friendships. There's no church discipline happening at my church. There's no, the text is never applied to life. It's just, so.
It's been really good.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought was cool was we got a lot. One of our Patreon supporters, Brian, not Brian Sauvé.
Not the Sweet Psalmist of Ogden.
Brian was
Brian
saying, yeah, like you guys should, do a conference. Love to come to it. I think that, definitely was on the tip of my brain. Like, we should do something. We should have AC.
Yeah, we should. We should have AC. We'll tag Michael. We'll be like, Michael, you share our conference. It's like County Before Country with AC. He actually joked that was going to be next year's marketing for County Before Country. It's like County Before Country 2023 this year with air conditioning. And I was like, you should have County Before Country 2023, formerly the hottest conference in Batavia, Ohio. But anyway.
I think it would actually be funny if they did it with AC, but this time just like go as cold as you can.
Too cold, and then the next year, like you have to keep coming back until you get the perfect.
Yeah,
that's genius.
Keep people coming.
Yeah, you know what? We walked away. We said, let's do a conference. We said, let's do a King's Hall conference. Let's do a New Christendom conference here in Ogden. So stay tuned, patrons here. Like,
I don't think anyone knows about New Christendom.
We're in the family here. Ooh, well, that was what you call an Easter egg.
Whoa, big idea, Dan. That was smart. Dan was like in business school and whatnot, so
Dan knows about Easter eggs.
Yeah, if you knew anything about business school, you would not associate smart. It was great to go to the bars.
Oh,
wow. for other business students.
Yeah.
Not Dan.
Not me.
No, not Dan.
Never. Never would I have a drink or anything like that.
So, Brian, I want to ask you about one thing that we talked about. You mentioned in the service, Josh Dawes on Twitter shared this.
Okay.
And it was G. Shane Morris, our guy.
Yeah.
And Shane Morris, like, I was actually impressed. He was ripping this to shreds, but he said, quote, "The church has got to stop countenancing this ridiculous attitude that just praising natural institutions and helping people take part in them is idolatry."
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of this lately. You had some comments on Sunday about loving Sci Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Not
In the
idolatry.
sermon.
What is, I guess, unpack for me, what's the issue? First of all, what are you seeing culturally happening?
Yeah.
And why address it in the way that you did?
Yeah, in the sermon, I was explaining about just being gone for the last few days and how I'd seen a picture of my dude, Cyril, and his big moon pie face, because he's just he inherited from the Sauvé gene pool from my father's side. My dad has a perfectly round head. Very handsome dad, if you're ever listening to this. Very handsome. He inherited that moon pie face, and I just saw his 2-year-old moon pie face, and I was like, I want to go home. I love my boy. And what I was thinking as, I was preparing for the sermon this Sunday was there are lots of parts of Christian culture where there's this tendency that Gregory Shane Morris was pointing at to essentially call all normal natural affections idolatry. And we're always talking about the idolatry of the family, idolatry of children. And look, you can get your loves disordered with anything. But what it can tend to make people feel like is God is up there looking at me as I see this picture of my son and go, I really love my boy. I just want to hug my boy. I want to see him. I want to chat with him. I want to hear all of his funny jokes, his 2-year-old talk, chatter.
I'm already thinking idolatry.
Just love him. And it's as if God's up there going, repent. Like, as if God is insecure. He can't handle me loving my son. When in reality, that is supposed to be pedagogical. It's supposed to be, there's supposed to be something I learn from my love for my boy and how intense that love is. I'm supposed to learn what it means when the
you
Lord
say love
Jesus
Christ more.
Well, when Jesus says, "Pray our Father in heaven," and then so I'm supposed to refer to God as my Father,
and you have a reference point now.
Yeah, and I'm going, I understand on some small level what the love of the Father is because of how intensely I love my boy. Now, of course, I should love, my primal love should be my love for the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. But Jesus actually said, you can sum up the whole law just in saying love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I had the chance to spend some time with Aaron Wren, wrote in actually to the conference with him. And so we were talking about this. And I asked him what he thought about it, and he said, it just strikes me that this whole everything is idolatry. Any desire is tantamount to idolatry. He said it's almost identical to Buddhism, where you have to be emptied of all desire, good and bad. So like the state of nirvana is zero desire.
And I always ask people that are Buddhists, do you desire to get to that state of zero desire? I'm sorry.
What do they say?
Anyway.
What do they
One time
say?
this is a total derailing. One time I was in a philosophy of religion class in Weber State University, and they were talking about Buddhism and that exact concept. And I was like, I raised my hand. I said, why don't they just kill themselves? Because it would seem like that'd be the quickest way.
Boom.
They were very offended.
Really?
I will not lie to you. I think it's the most offended anybody was ever at me in the... Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
It's actually quite understandable. But yeah, you really do. You get to this point where it's like, the goal is everything that you desire is bad, so just don't have desires.
Yeah.
But that actually wouldn't be Christian love either.
No.
We'd not be loving our neighbor if we said, Sci Guy, I feel nothing.
I look at my son and I feel indifference because I'm holy.
Yeah, and even the sort of the Gnostic pietism that's been in the church where, you're like, oh yeah, husband, you love your wife. Well, you should not because she's going to die and you're going to be in eternity. And it's like, okay, well, just go read the Song of Solomon again one more time.
The natural family is going to be destroyed.
Idolatry.
And I'm like, well, actually, even when type gives way to substance, it's always greater. It's not lesser. It's not lesser than it will be an intensification of the goodness of the original thing. So just because in heaven we're neither married nor given in marriage. It's not that marriage is going to be lame. It's that there will be such an intensification of what marriage was about in the first place that it will be even more, to use my trademarked word, glorious.
Glorious.
Glorious, listeners.
And to use my trademark sound.
That's huge.
That's
and
huge.
to use Dan's trademark sound, that was it.
That's the sound.
That's funny. Silence.
That was
is actually the sound. By the way, Dan, I think this is important. One of the things we've striven. So we striven to do in this podcast is just be all inclusive. And one of the things I feel like we need to correct is we did get to meet Noah Alvarenga.
We did. Oh,
Why are you talking to me? I was not there. I did not meet Noah.
We need a retraction.
Yeah, well, Dan is not playing nicely in the sandbox. So, yeah.
I'm just going to go back
to Brian.
Managing our
excuse me.
member role.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. I was under the illusion you were participating in this conversation. So, anyway.
It is an illusion.
It is an illusion. Thank you, Dan. Noah was there, and we had actually, Brian, that's not me.
When you say we, you mean me, very loudly.
Brian made the assumption that Noah was a Mexican.
Look at him.
Well, here's the deal. Noah is actually Colombian and El Salvadoran. So for
let's
the
be
record,
honest here.
You thought he was Mexican?
Yeah.
Mexican. Okay.
Let's be honest here.
I mean, how dare you?
Are they different?
How dare you?
I mean, they do all kind of look the same. But here.
One has chalupas and one has cocaine.
It is at this point where I would like to absolve myself from any associations with the King's Hall.
Okay.
It's after hours, Dan.
Duly noted.
It is not.
It really is.
It
so,
is,
yeah,
yeah.
Noah had his, they were actually not pit vipers.
They weren't name brand?
Well, they were a name brand. Blenders, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Turns
That
out
is a brand, and it has a name.
It's a name brand.
pit vipers were actually, he said the company is kind of like pro-gay.
Oh, okay. So, yeah,
So he's
can't
like,
be supporting that.
I can't be doing that.
Columbia Boy Summer can't be supporting that.
Columbia Boy Summer. Yeah, so I naturally he commented on Facebook about being from Colombia. So I sent him a GIF of Pablo Escobar, also from Colombia.
Also Colombian.
Plato or Plumas, silver or lead.
Yeah, you got it.
I am trying to
You are
respect
winsome, Eric.
and nuance.
You make friends. You keep friends.
What is the point of this?
The point is, we're in the pub right now. We're in after hours. We're chatting.
Dan's not.
We're just
He's
chatting.
He's on another planet.
We're chatting about mutual interests. Noah is a mutual interest of Eric and mine.
Mutual interest.
He's a friend.
He's going to be so stoked that we set the record
Mexican
straight.
white boy summer. I mean, Colombian, whatever.
Yeah, he is. Mexico.
You
is
guys
how
know how to
pronounce
make friends. I'll just say that.
The last thing, Dan,
What?
that we're going to talk about is a tweet from Brian. Now, I have to clarify at the conference. Everyone asked me, said, how do you say his name? And I said, it's Suave.
Oh, boy.
Like
Yes.
Rico Suave.
Yes.
You know what? You know what I said when people ask me? I said, here's how my friend Dan Burkholder explains it. It's Brian Sauvé, like so gay.
That was Matt Halverson.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I have to take it back.
It really
Yeah,
was.
Yeah. Because he was
Sorry.
mispronouncing it, and I was like,
Look.
no, it's actually Sauve, and he's like, so gay?
Yeah,
So there
I
you
need
go.
to. I need to retract. County Before Country listeners, the people I told that it wasn't Dan, it was Matt Halverson.
So my wife, it was funny at Grace Agenda, was it last year?
I wasn't there.
I was.
I just
know
thought I
what?
would make that point since
You know what,
made
Eric?
your point earlier.
I apologize. I was insensitive.
Yo!
Okay. I like this reconciliation.
She
anyway,
did the same thing.
I absolutely
Amelia-
do not forgive you.
Amelia went around, and whenever people go, "Great friends," she's like, "Oh, we're from Ogden." Oh yeah, you're like Brian Suave's church. Is that how you say it? And Amelia would say, "Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
It's Suave.
it is Suave."
Like Rico.
So
Well-
most of Moscow, Idaho, believes that my name is pronounced Suave.
And actually, to be fair, I can say this because she doesn't listen. But,
She's also not a patron.
yeah, well, so she gets no benefits and perks. The thing is,
Except she gets one of our core members. I
yes, well, that. But here's
Obviously
the deal.
favorite too.
When
so.
we were leaving for the conference, it was actually Amelia who told me to tell everyone.
mean, yeah. So, hey, you know what
that is my
Suave?
wife.
You know what Suave means in Mexican?
Smooth.
It means smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll
is there
take it.
is there a Mexican language?
Rico
Mexican.
Suave is
Say
Mexican.
habla. You know.
Yeah,
That's funny.
they speak
Como se
Mexican.
This whole
dice?
time, I thought I was under the illusion that it was Spanish.
Como se
No, it's
dice?
Mexican.
Suave. Smooth on español. Se dice?
What does
suave.
it mean in French?
Well, suave isn't a word in French, but sauve
Salvation.
means saved. It's the past participle of the verb savoir, meaning to save.
Yeah, salvation. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So my name, Brian A. Sauve, if you pronounce my middle initial as a word, is the sentence, Brian is saved.
Actually, that's false because in French, suave means agreeable.
S-U-A-V?
S-A.
I looked it up.
Yeah,
I thought it was saved.
S-U-A-V-E.
Oh, S-U-A means that.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a word.
Sensation. You know what? This is in French. Never mind.
I was almost like thrown for my whole life. Whew. Yeah.
It's been a very educational show.
It really has. And the thing that I think is that if I could just say the best reason to sign up for Patreon is to hear us this content.
So
This is the prime
a word. There is a
content.
word. It's suave qui payut
Okay.
or whatever.
I'm gonna come over
What
there. I'm
did
gonna come
you
over
just
there.
say?
It means panic.
Sauve qui peut.
Puh.
I think it means panic in the disco.
I like payut better. That's closer to your other people.
Widespread panic. Widespread panic. I've never heard that. You know what? That must be one of those. So like there's idioms
Yeah,
in French.
you're an idiom.
This guy. What an intelligent remark. In French, if you want to say step on it, you know, like you're in a car, he's like, step on it, go faster. They say, appuie sur le champignon.
It seems.
What does that mean?
They'd pick
It
something
means-
faster to say.
I know, right? It's long. It means literally step on the mushroom. Because in French cars, the gas pedal looked kind of like a mushroom. So they
Really?
would say, appuie sur le champignon. And if you literally translate, I bet that
The
means
French
something
can't
like
even
that.
design a gas pedal correctly.
My word, the French,
A mushroom?
my heritage.
Their food, though. I mean, am I right?
Let's be honest
pretty
here.
good.
I mean, have
I
you
would
heard
pick
of
a
a
mushroom,
croissant
too.
before? I have. I look like one.
I'm surprised
Flaky
you said
and buttery.
croissant instead of your
Croissant.
croissant.
No, I'm not one of those guys. It's not like, look, I don't go to restaurants and go, hi, I would like to have some of the steak quesadillas. And if you don't, can you bring me some extra tortillas? Because I would like some carne asada. No, don't be that guy.
That made me
Just
really
say carne asada. Just say tortillas.
But-
You're white.
But think about French culture.
Unless
like,
they're not.
I often do. Go
they
on.
gave us
Like
the
Noah.
Pink Panther. The Pink Panther came from French culture.
Did it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it's French. Clouseau. I mean, come on.
Le Rose Panther. I don't know how to say panther, so.
He's not French. He's Indian.
Is it oh la.
I was actually gonna read a tweet from Brian
Were
before
you?
this nonsense got off the rails.
What was it?
This has been the best part of the show.
One of the most
easily.
Oh yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the most growth stunting lies you can believe is that honoring others and helping them succeed is going to somehow hurt or hinder you. Competition can be godly, friendly, and helpful. A feature of healthy masculinity, but arrogant Babel building is self-harming folly. There's a lot of-
Babel, Babel, look at me now. And the walls of my town, they come crumbling down.
Mumford and Sons, thank you.
You said it like the song.
That's
like
why
they
I
do.
said that. Yeah.
So I just thought I'd sing
Well,
that for
because
you.
I'm part English.
Also, we probably just got dinged by copyright or something on
Definitely
Patreon.
did not.
It sounded exactly like the song, Dan.
I actually thought it was the song, Marcus Mumford's in studio. Dan, talk about why it's so good for you to not compete for glory with Brian.
I mean, I can't compete, right? That's what you were going to say. Look at him.
I mean,
Did you hear him
obviously.
sing? I mean, come on. No, the competition is good, especially when your goal is total annihilation and dominion with your friends.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I will
good.
bury you.
Wait, you'll bury your friends?
I will bury you.
I am
Dan
suddenly
Burkholder, King's Hall,
afraid.
after hours.
No, I think it's very masculine, very natural and masculine. I mean, if you get two men doing a task together, say something like I don't know, digging. It you can't help, even if it's unspoken, looking over at the other person and going like, "Dang, I better catch up. I'm gonna beat them." Like it's just natural.
Yep.
Hey, and even better, unnamed man at the stoplight next to you in another vehicle. I mean, there is an inclination to where you want to beat them.
Yeah.
What if you're in a Ford Ranger?
If you're in a Ford Ranger, I would recommend avoiding squawking your tires and getting a street racing ticket for that.
Okay, the best part's the narking, but we can't talk about it.
We can't talk about it. We can't.
Come
that
to Ogden.
Might have to be edited out.
Come to our conference. Buy us a beer, and we'll tell you the story that we're referencing right now. And it's hilarious. Yes, buy us. It's worth it. It's worth a beer.
It's definitely worth your
Any
beer.
of us will tell you about the squawking.
The main thing we want people to know, Dan, is they're missing out by not being here.
I think we can all agree on that.
But I'm not.
Is it? You're not here?
I'm not missing out.
Oh, no, you're not missing out. I was going to say, where are you?
Come to our hypothetical future conference.
No, so competition is healthy amongst men in a way. Mm-hmm. So especially if you're for one another, that's obviously key. If you are seriously like in competition because of envy, that's poison. Bad. Straight up poison.
Well, I think it was one of my main takeaways from the conference, actually. Michael is this talented guy. He's done a lot of good things. He's written a book. His church is doing well. But I think one of the things I admired most about what he did with the conference is he's really trying to give a lot of different guys the spotlight to expose each of us to the other people, to network. And I think it's a good picture for the church. We've had a lot of incidents in especially Reformed Baptist, Presbyterian camps, both sides involved in this. There's bickering, there's infighting. But at the end of the day, I really like the attitude of, hey, we're actually trying to help each other. Yeah. We're not trying to tear each other down. We're not trying to say, your thing sucks because mine's great. Yeah. But again, I think the conference was a good showcase of, hey, there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work. Mm-hmm. Get to know them. Let's celebrate some of that work. And there's enough glory to go around. Yeah.
Glory is not a fixed pie.
Yeah.
It's not like if I honor Dan and Eric, or if I honor Michael, or if I honor Doug, or whatever, that it's like, oh, there was 100% of glory. They took 3%. There's only 97 left. So you better, no, it's like God, all of it comes from the Father, and all of it redounds to the Father. Like it's glory belongs to God. But when we live like he does, he's a God who bestows glory on his creatures. Right? Man is the glory of God. Then glory redounds. It multiplies. It shines. So you get glory. God gets glory ultimately, and you can honor and see glory land on lots of places. This weighty goodness of a thing being at peace with what God made it to be and do.
Beautiful.
Is it?
It's deep. You tell me, Dan. What is it?
Glorious.
It's huge. Speaking of huge, Dan, this episode has been huge. Mm-hmm. It's been life-changing.
I think we can all agree.
Huge. And so I want to close this episode. And since it's after hours, we normally give a toast.
That's right.
We're not going to be toasting with Peat Monster because I'm now using that for a water bottle.
Which is a bold move.
It tastes a lot like scotch.
Get a little peaty taste for the next 1,000 times you fill it up.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's Berkey water, so it's okay.
It's fine.
We're going to be toasting with some Buffalo Trace bourbon.
Yeah, we're slumming it.
Some great whiskey from Kentucky Straight Bourbon, actually. One of the finest. So, Dan, since you are in such a glorious, cheery mood, I would like to ask Dan.
Are you saying that I'm not in a cheery mood?
No, I'm saying you are, Dan.
No, I'm definitely not in a cheery mood.
No, you're definitely not. Dan is the surly one of the bunch. And so, because he's so surly, I want to hear the most cheerful,
we should call him the sweet sirloin of Ogden. That should be Dan's.
Sirloin?
Anyway, the surly sirloin of Ogden. Okay, keep going.
Sirloin. Yes. So anyway, surly sirloin. Would you give us a toast befitting of kings?
Let's stand, boys.
Toast befitting of kings.
Yeah, Brian just rips his mic.
I ripped my whole mic off the stand. I'm ready.
King energy.
King energy.
You may be ready, but I am not. All right. What did we even talk about in this episode?
What didn't we?
To the pie of glory, may it continue to grow, and may all of us have equal shares in it. To the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.